Hello, everyone, and welcome to EGFH Season 12 over here. We have got a pretty great slate of games for you, and the first one, no exception. We've got two undefeated teams battling it out, both trying to keep themselves at that top of the ladder, but only one's going to keep it there. We've got AWBD Career Center, and we have got North Rockland High School going to be facing off for you. I am K-Wing, and I am here with Chef Billy. Billy, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good in a new little setup here for myself, so I feel like I'm in a better place right now. Things are good. I'm back here casting high school Overwatch here for the EGF, and couldn't be happier. North Rockland High School and the AWBD Career Center, like you said, both coming in undefeated. They're both 3-0. And here we'll see the standings here in the Atlantic group. There they are, 1 and 2 respectively. The only difference between the two teams right now is the fact that we see North Rockland here with a 6-map differential. So they have not dropped a map yet. Now, looking on the other side, they have, for BD, they have really come out here and had a good season so far, but they have dropped some maps. So across their 3 wins, they have dropped 2 maps, each one of them. So they have gone to 3 map 5s. And, well, I mean, this could either go one way or the other, K-Wing. It could either go in a stomp from Rockland or we're going 5.
It sure could, and that honestly, that makes me like AWBD a little bit because you see that they can go the distance. They can fight out in map 5s, but Rockland has shown that they're dominant. And like you said, a map win streak here. 9 maps, just all wins all the time for Rockland. We'll have to see if AWBD can put a stop to that on Elios.
Right. So, I mean, Elios will be our starting point here for today's action. And, I mean, we all know how Elios goes. You've got the brawl map of Ruins, and then you get the weird stuff that comes out on Well and on, on Lighthouse. So this is going to come down, I think, really from the start. It's going to be how do these two teams really progress through the rotation of maps. If we start out on Ruins, of course, that's going to be a stinky spot for everybody. Seeing how they're going to be able to work through this, we'll just see what map we get first as we're looking for the feed to come through here on our first map. It's going to be Elios. We're going to start out with, I think some standard compositions. Right now, especially in the metal ranks, Reinhardt is such a good option for a tank. You can run with the Sigma, you could run with Ramachi, you could run with a lot of other tanks right now. But honestly, for my money right now, especially depending on where these two teams sit as far as their SR, I think Reinhardt is going to be a great option right now. Such a good place. You can take space and hold it effectively. If you're good at Wrecking Ball, obviously, Well and the Lighthouse are good spots for that as well.
Interestingly enough, we don't see any Reinhardt here. I was expecting it too because of that Fire Strike buff really synchronizing well with Baptiste with that amplification matrix. You can one-shot any 200 HP squishy with the Fire Strike through the matrix, but as the doors open, we got the Diva, we got the Orisa.
I mean, you know what? It could be people's very own comforts here. And I mean, I like the matchup going in for a Diva against an Orisa. I mean, Diva is so strong. Will always be strong, I think, in a lot of these metas. I mean, just the mobility alone and be able to get yourself a remake back. But Symmetra is very strong at this point, too. I mean, they're running out here with a lot of CC here going up against BD.
Yeah, you love to see the early teleporter as North Rockland just having so much burst damage, getting right onto point and right onto work. Quickly going to cap the point and start ticking up percentage. Eventually the teleporter will get burst out, but it's going to be so hard to walk through those doors. Hey, Orson almost going down, but it is the mine from onto Jester Junebug. Not even looking like it isn't no thing, and North Rockland with a solid first fight.
I mean, that was just all about spam. I mean, the spam from the turrets, the spam coming out of Junebug there. I mean, Tall Trees and Junebug collapsing in on top of the back line of BD, really holding Curison, they're out of the point on the Diva. They just didn't have a way to get it, and I think that's still going to be a problem for them being able to get themselves onto the point, especially going in with Rose landing volleys like that.
Oh, and Junebug again just finding that first opening pick. It's going to send AWBD packing. The D-Mech is going to seal the deal, and they're just going to feel free to chase, but not too far, Rose. Otherwise, Mr. Facetious is going to come in with a shotgun straight to the stomach. And now they're feeling ready to go right back in with this teleporter.
Well, we're looking at the teleport coming in right there, and I mean, they're going to be met up there. The Swift Step is there. They're going to have to go ahead and pop the Coalescence.
Oh, Mr. Facetious just getting taken down immediately as soon as they exit that Wraith Walk, just getting demolished on the point. And this is the burst damage that is doing so much work for North Rockland.
I mean, using the Photon Barrier there, maybe a little bit of BM. We're going in for the Terror Surge.
Oh, no way. Just demolishing the baby Diva, but it might be a little too much there as the Orisa is going to go down. The Death Blossom will find one pick, but Mr. Facetious will go down. North Rockland does have a disconnect, but as the fight's still going on, we're going to finish that up, and it might not even matter. Junebug is on the point and just lobbing bomb after bomb. 100-0. North Rockland, we might have a pause here, but they can fight with 4 as well as they can with 5.
I mean, they really just had the ultimate economy in their favor, K-Wing. That was really what they were waiting for. I'm kind of surprised that they did use the Photon Barrier so early, especially with an Ashe coming out in the composition. You would want to maybe save that for the Bob when it does come out, but it's okay because they do end up making it through it in the end and having their way with AWBD there on Lighthouse. So, I mean, you know, they hold their ultimates in for the big power moves that were coming in from BD. They were waiting for that Death Blossom. Yeah, picked up one. But they did clean it up in the interim, so they did have Transcendence to keep everybody else nice and safe. And you saw Junebug once again with those concussion mines. Just saying, bye, deleted, you're gone. And they did take care of their due diligence there. So, I mean, Ilios right now looking a lot like, you know, what I was expecting. So, yeah, we're going to throw it to a quick little break while we get this technical issue solved. We'll be back. Don't go away.
And welcome back. We're here with all of our technical issues sorted, and we will not have any technical problems ever again. As we go into our second map, of course, with North Rockland up 1-0. They're coming in with the Reinhardt, like you said, Billy.
Yeah, I mean, this is, a lot more expected here, but I like the swap here for BD. Coming in with the pharmacy, or with the Farah. That's not a pharmacy right now. They've got a Syl, Moira, and the Lucio coming in here. So speed going to be around here for Curison. Going to be on this Roadhog, and that's going to be a very interesting matchup as they are going to be able to look into this. Yep, and Junebug is the initial target. Got so much work done in that previous engagement here, K-Wing, that they looked at maybe the Junkrat needs to go. But that's going to be first point to Rockland.
Yeah, some even trades, but overall, really good stuff from Rockland to take that first point.
Well, we'll see. If there's going to be any changes. Yeah, Junebug is going to go over to the Soldier 76 here. So definitely a counter there now for Mr. Facetious. Definitely playing that flex DPS role here. Looking to see how Tall Trees is going to work around here going up against the Zookeeper. They do have a hit scan to deal with it, but there are now 2 Reapers on the field. Well, I'm sorry, 1 Reaper. And Tall Trees is just annihilating people.
That was really funny there from Tall Trees. The timing, impeccable. And what a concussion from Mr. Facetious, taking out Nico Hates Overwatch on the Reinhardt. Even with that tank passive added, really good timing from Tall Trees to stall out just a little longer. Junebug has that time to come in and take out Mr. Facetious. The hook gonna come in, but MJack sees your tricks there, Curison. It's all North Rockland, not even close.
I mean, even with Jack coming in here to substitute for our missing player from North Rockland, now they haven't missed a beat here, even getting the environmental onto it. So barrage into this next fight, but Tac Visor is online, K-Wing.
Yeah, Tactic Visor is gonna be tough, especially with the Death Blossom catching out Mr. Facetious. Tall Trees teleports away, a job well done. Now AWBCC coming in, trying, but they've got the Shatter to deal with, the Tactical Visor. It's all coming down on top of them, and Junebug is just pressing down. Triple kill, North Rockland.
I mean, they have both support ultimates coming into this fight as well, and I mean, it's going to have to come down to either is taken 2 here on the Lucio to get a touch. Mr. Facetious still does have this barrage online.
Mr. Facetious actually gets the touch, and then it's just going to be a... Oh, Billy. Oh, no.
It's not a C9 because, I mean, the pressure was overwhelming. It's not a C9.
Wasn't it really isn't.
It wasn't, no.
They had the far, Billy.
They had the far, but I mean, where was it taken to? I mean, they had opportunities to get there, but the pressure. I mean, just going into a shield, Mr. Rectangle Man just holding the shield up there, absorbing the entirety of the barrage. I mean, their job was done. They got the touch, and I mean, they were going to get wiped out anyway, so they just kind of flitted themselves up, hoping that somebody else would be able to touch. It's not. It's a 4. If it is a C9, it's a 4 C9.
But, Billy, I am Twitch chat, and if every single member is not dead in spawn and 3,000 miles away from the point, and the point goes, it's a C9. That's what Twitch chat says, at least. So it must be true. I
have learned that Twitch chat is wrong. A lot.
No.
A lot.
Really?
YouTube chat too,
Twitch chat?
for that matter. But we'll agree to disagree with Twitch chat on that one. Not a conventional Sir Charles the Ninth. But what it is a 1-0 lead here to North Rockland High School. They still have not dropped a map this season so far. BD, they did show some adaptability there. But right now, the focus fire, the individual talents from North Rockland really showing forth here in our game so far. And now we're going to head up and take a look at our map pool here, see what our next map is going to be. And as we're going to be going to Kings Row. So I'm looking to see if Curison, the tank player for BD, is going to be able to match the pressure that we saw coming out from North Rockland there in the tank department. I mean, they just absolutely were holding space left and right. And other than one concussive blast, never really was under any problem. So I think that you need to be able to displace this tank player from North Rockland by any means necessary to be able to have any kind of a shot here in this series.
Yeah, it looks like we actually do have a substitution, though, for AWBCC. It's not going to be Kjorsen on the tank. It looks like they might have been the Roadhog specialist. It's going to be Miko coming in for tank on AWBCC. Probably wanted to come in on that Reinhardt, maybe the Orisa, potentially even the Ramatra, pardon. But you're definitely going to see some different tank picks, I feel, from Miko versus Kjorsen on the side of AWBCC, and maybe that's the shakeup they need, because I think we can both agree that they definitely need a shakeup. That was a 200-0, pretty dominant win for North Rockland, and it looks like MJack and Tall Trees are going to be swapping roles as well. Tall Trees going on to the support, and MJack going on to the DPS for North Rockland. So switches on both sides, but I'm interested to see how Miko works out on AWBCC's side.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how this actually goes through, and if it's going to have any kind of a stopping power. We'll see how this actually rolls through. But I mean, when the team is feeling super confident, we see this in high school leagues a lot. We'll see them off roll if they feel like it's going to be more of a challenge. And that can absolutely come through in some of these matches. So we'll see if MJack has the goods, and if Taldrees also has the goods in the support department. We'll figure that out here very shortly. London is going to be the map we talk about, this being Scrims Row. We talk about this being the map that everybody knows and everybody goes to. You've got different ways to deal with this. And I think that for North Rockland, more of the same, more of the focus fire, more of the space control from Nico will be really imperative for them to be able to take this second map in pretty easy comfort. Now, for the substitute coming in here, I think that we really want to see them be able to challenge Nico. We want to see them get to them. And we'll see that Face, my Mace, is coming in is taken 2 on support for AWBCC. So everybody's getting playtime. And this is great. I mean, I love seeing it. Everybody gets a chance to shine here. Everybody gets a chance to participate. And, well, that's what high school is all about, is learning, getting ready for collegiate Overwatch, should that be their career plans.
It looks like we're going to have to take a little bit of a break. We're having some lobby configuration work, but we'll be right back shortly when we get to Kings Row, and we'll see if we can turn it around here, or if AWBCC can turn it around against North Rockland. And welcome back. We have finally we are ready and set for the next map, which is King's Row, and we're seeing double Reinhardts. We're gonna see the dueling hammers here, Billy, on King's Row, and we'll have to see if AWBD can turn it around here.
Well, Face My Mace, Jester, Input, all coming in here for. I believe that we've got both the. I think we've got the teams. Yeah, we got the teams going good here. So we're going to see Beatty come out here on the attack, and we've had 4 substitutions coming in here for Beatty. We're going to see Input come in. I would assume that Input would swap to a different character after they try to get this early pick here from teams, but North Rockland coming out here with a very strong composition. Once again, Junebug staying on this Junkrat, and MJack is going to show us the Sojourn skills.
Input on the Widowmaker, trying to just peek out and find any heads that they can. Everyone's playing around that natural cover. They're staying out for a lot longer than we usually would see, but they can't seem to find that headshot onto Rose. They're just playing on this high ground here, and they're actually going to roll out on the Widowmaker now as North Rockland holding strong, but it's the headshot onto Rose from Input. AWBD has an opportunity, and they might just have to take it here. That Zen is faltering, and they have to pull back now. Oh. That's the shot. What a flick onto Junebug, hitting that body shot. Now Miko gonna get hit with the anti-nade and bursted down, but the resurrection from Jester on top of the statue. There's the shatter, gonna reach 3, but Input is going wild on this Widowmaker, landing shot after shot after shot, enabling North Rockland to just have to fall back, and enabling AWBD, to just dominate.
Well, let's talk about domination right now. Taltree is getting the better of that Widow v Ana duel, and I mean, they're going to get the touch. Good lord, they do get the touch.
Oh my gosh, with the Nano Junkrat. That Nano Rat is going to be doing a lot of damage, going to jump right behind that shield, knock Miko into the air. They've got the Riptire, and they're going to let loose. Miko goes down, bursted down, and Junebug. North Rockland just have such an incredible ability to come in right when they need to.
94.5% there, and they turn it with a combo of the Nano and the Riptire. Now, Mr. Facetious ready to go with this overclock. They need to take care of the Immortality Barrier first, and then we'll see. They'll need to take care of the Kitsune Rush coming up here from Rose first. And there we go, Input getting a first kill, big priority pick.
Yeah, especially on the Sojourn with the other overclock. Now you are the only Sojourn there with Facetious. You have that early first pick. There's the Kitsune Rush from Rose. They're trying to stay away. There's the Shatter coming out from Miko. Not going to find much purchase, but it's Junebug all the way. You know it. You've seen it, and we love it here as it's North Rockland staying strong.
I mean, they're dancing here. Not less than 90 seconds. Retire comes out. No abilities to stop it. Oh my word, they save it with a Suzu.
Wow. What incredible timing there. What just incredible timing from Rose on the Kiriko, saving their team from almost certain destruction, and MJack finishing it up, all North Rockland.
I mean, they invested 2 ultimates into that fight, the Nano and the Overclock, and MJack getting the better of the change there. Now, Mr. Facetious coming out on the Pharaoh. We saw this happen on Ilios. So, I mean, now you're going to have this long-range poke. You're going to have to expect that MJack's going to be prioritizing the Pharaoh in the sky. Shatter available here to Miko.
That needs to be big there. You have as well that Amplification Matrix, so you might see that combo come out from AWBD, but they need something big, and they need it now. There's both Reinhardts charging right into each other. Miko throws out the Shatter. It's gonna stun Miko. But the Shatter, Miko's is bigger, and it's just North Rockland just dominating. No touch from Mr. Facetious. The Pharah might have been able to touch on Ilios, but it's not gonna touch now. as 94.5% is all they can get.
I mean, they had it covered too in case there was going to be somebody coming through there. So, I mean, they got the work done. They bend, but they do not break. 5.5% from losing point A, and now we're going to swap sides here. And I just don't know. I mean, North Rockland plays with a faster tempo than what I think Beatty might be used to here. So, I mean, they're willing to invest maybe into a lost fight. We saw that happen where it was 94.5%. They invest the nano onto Junebug. Junebug gets an early pick and then finds the safety behind the Alderworth Hotel and lets loose with the Riptire. Takes 2 down, and they're able to stabilize on the back of it. So, I mean, they are definitely feeling their oats right now, K-Wing, as we look to see what AWBD are going to do here. They're going to come out with some spam. They're going to come out with a little bit of Discord love. You're going to have some vision coming from Mr. Facetious here. And then, obviously, these turrets are going to have to be placed very strategically to take care of Nico. And, I mean, if Nico and company stay with what they've got going on right now, they're not even going to care about the Symmetra teleporters.
No, they really won't, as AWBD really needs... They need the fuller hold. Plain and simple, they need that fuller hold, and that Symmetra turret is going to be really important there, especially with potentially getting back to spawn back from spawn faster with some pickoffs, as that's exactly what you're going to want to see from this Winston comp, as it's already going to start diving in off of the back of it already.
I mean, we're looking for North Rockland to close the gap. And I mean, we see Nico goes in way too far for their own good. And yeah, I mean, it's going to force a lot of cooldowns out of AWBD, and they're going to clean up on the back of this. This will probably be a change of composition as we see them come through here. Well, I say that. Nico's going to stay with the Winston right now, so Monkey Love's going to come through.
They're going to keep it rolling out, and I'm interested to see what their new plan is going to be. Tall Trees is coming up very quickly onto this Transcendence. That could be the win condition, but Nico just jumps in and gets shredded on this Winston the second time that has happened. Tall Trees, though, will find the pick. M-Jack, another. You're close to this Transcendence. You might just use it off a cooldown. You might not even need it with Tall Trees finding the headshot on a face my mace. Face the orbs from Tall Trees. The barrier going to come out, but it might be too little too late. The Transcendence, just to keep them all up. Rose finding the last 2 picks. And unless you get some late stall from AWBD, they might not have enough in the tank to keep this from going to the end. 2 ticks coming through. There's a Kitsune rush from Rose just to make sure that anyone who tries to jump on the point gets shredded. And North Rockland keep it rolling 2-0. They're on match point, and they're looking to make it a 12-map win streak.
That is just impressive coming out for them. I mean, look at this. This is the defense coming through here, and Junebug just cleaning up on the back of it after the shatter. And we see enough coming from them that we know that this is a very dangerous squad and gets the full value out of it. So, I mean, now as we head, into our next map type, I tell you what, BD, they're trying to change things up. But right now, North Rockland is a rock that is gathering 0 moss. And Coliseum is going to be our push map coming up next here. And, I mean, I'm looking for more of the same. Probably have some substitutions coming in here to make sure everybody gets a chance to play. But, man, I mean, it has been the North Rockland show so far. And, I mean, BD just does not have an answer for the aggression yet.
And you have to be worried here if you are anyone else in the conference, or honestly even in EGFH, as this should have been, based on the standings so far, this should have been as close as they could get for North Rockland. This should have been their competition. This should have been, if anything, at least the moment where the map win streak comes to an end, and they're looking to keep it rolling. This is the second place team, separated only by map differential. And it's just been North Rockland all the way. And you have to wonder if AWBCC cannot stop them, who can? I mean, they haven't failed yet, but it has been Rockland all day. I mean, what changes are they going to make as we go into break?
I mean, as we head into break, I think that they're going to have to really figure out what their identity is here, how they're going to take down Nico. Nico has been really only punished here on King's Row, and that's for some lackluster dives going into the back lane, just trying to pull the aggro out from BD, and then the rest of the team just cleaned up on the back. So, I mean, got the work done. But we'll head to a break. We'll be back. We'll let the teams figure out how they want to approach this next map when we come back.
And we are back with what could be the last map of this series. It's AWBD versus North Rockland. And so far, Billy, it has been the North Rockland show all day long. What can AWBD do to try and stave off this 3-0 sweep? I mean, we know that they can win the 3-2 series. How are they going to do it here? What can they do?
I mean, it's going to have to turn around here. And it's going to have to come around with some severe focus fire coming from AWBD. I mean, AWBCC, they got some friends in the chat. And they're definitely believing in the power of friendship and solidarity and input with a big first pick. Nico, previously the tank is now out on tank or out on support. And this might be a little bit hubris.
Perhaps, but input not believing in the power of friendship maybe, but definitely believing in the power of those logs they're launching from the bow. Already have been some facetious on that bastion. You hear that gun going All right, as we're rolling back out, Sigma versus the Ramatra. Good accretion onto the Nemesis form of Ace and Miko, keeping Ace right at that arm's distance that you want from the Sigma. Input is just free to shoot logs left, right, and center. And it's AWBD Career Center potentially taking this, but they've got the numbers, but they might not have it at all. Tall Trees might just be here to clutch it up. Now pulling behind the corner is North Rockland, and the annihilation from Ace from North Rockland. Ace is just rolling out. They've got the support, they've got the heals, they've got the confidence. They're ready and waiting to roll out. They're gonna trap Facetious, and they're gonna roll out with the robot.
Oh, they get the heals there in the end, though. This might be a turnaround point. And now that I say that, oh man, this is actually a back and forth fight. But now, oh my god, what an angle from Tall Trees! Good lord.
Tall Trees threading the needle there on that fight. And this is just how aggressive we've seen North Rockland be. What a headshot! I don't even know whose head they hit, but it sure was a headshot. I can't even tell you, but Input does have this Dragon Strike. You've got the ults coming out from AWBD. There's the Coalescence from Face My Mace. They'll take out the Immortality Field, but now they need to use that pressure, the aggression. Everyone's low there. Can they find it? There's a Dragon Strike from Input. All of the ults coming out from AWBD, but it'll help them stabilize and get that robot running back.
I mean, there's still some time for them to get back. They don't have the forward spawn. So, I mean, you're looking right now. I mean, such a heavy investment came out from BD there. And Ace, having used that Annihilation in the previous fight, already almost has it back online. The big problem for them right now is the Dragon Strike coming in.
Yeah, that is massive there from Ace. 2 Annihilations in 3 minutes. That is dominant. Some incredible Ramatra play from Ace. You've also got the Dragon Blade from Junebug. That could be really scary. You don't have anything there, but there's already Tall Trees with the headshot onto Input, coming at the Hanzo, and the Annihilation. 2 picks, not the Nano, not the Nano onto Ace. Nico, you didn't have to do it to them like that. 4 kills for Ace.
No, you did. And then Nico, I mean, just empowering their former role there, giving the tank, the Nano there, just getting it done now. The Bastion ult ready to go here, and I want to see how they're actually going to deploy this.
The answer is now. Mr. Facetious throwing it out. Where are they throwing it? Right on top of Ace, who's going to use the Nemesis form just to try and block and stay alive a little bit. Junebug, the first to fall, going in a bit too aggressive against Face My Mace. Going to have to face their right click. Now already Miko with some of that extra shielding. You've got the Dragon Strike coming in from Tall Trees potentially on this Hanzo. There it comes right across the bridge. It's gonna catch Jester, and you're caught between a rock from the Sigma and you're caught between the rock hard fists of Ace and a Dragon Place. Wow.
I mean, now we're looking for Ant Matrix and the Dragon Blade coming through. Both support ultimates ready to go. Answering Counter-Strike from Input. This is going to be an ult extravaganza coming through here as we close in on the last 30 meters of the map.
Oh, and it's already Tall Trees taking out Mr. Facetious. The Resurrection will be safe, and the Dragon Strike will get out, but Input's going to just get a headshot, a log straight to the face. Already 3, 4 ults coming out from AWBD, but almost weathering the storm. Mr. Facetious does land a few kills, but it's Ace, it's Tall Trees, it's the Annihilation from Ace. Can it keep them going? It doesn't look like they're going to be able to stay alive. The Nemesis form tried to escape, but can't do it. Barely staying alive, barely stabilizing AWBD.
I mean, forward spawns are definitely going to factor in here for this next engagement. And they've gone out to a little bit more of a stall composition here. So, I mean, they're running in here with the May and the Junkrat 30% towards that first tire. Nothing to protect against it other than an immortality barrier.
Oh, and losing Face My Mace early like that is going to be rough. You do have the resurrection, and crucially, those forward spawns did not get taken away. The Nano coming in on the tall trees. They're going to be launching some super powered logs. There's the Dragon Strike coming right on top of North, on top of AWBD. Oh, but Mr. Facetious with the Riptire lands too. AWBD off some good Junkrat play. Stay alive, and they will get rid of those forward spawns, but not before a few spawns come through.
Yeah, I mean, there's the forward spawn lost right there. They're actually going to get some progress now as we're at 3:35 on the clock. They're going to have to get to the checkpoint and then wait that out and then see if they can progress forward. Junebug right now just having fun on this Genji, and, well, gets annihilated for their troubles.
AWBD is not here to have fun, Billy. AWBD is here to win. They're going to use that Gravitic Flux. They're going to try and solo it out. Nico going to get taken down, burst down just right away. The bot's going to keep pushing, but it's going about a bit better for AWBD, but oh, there's Mr. Felicia's gone.
Well, we're looking right now at the swap here from Tall Trees over to this, this is Farah, and yeah, I mean, you got the back line taking care of Tall Trees is turning it again.
Wow, that's just exactly what you would expect from Tall Trees there, getting multiple picks off of the Farah.
Well, we'll see. Coming in this next fight, Annihilation up again. Dragon Blade is going to be ready to go. And the Barrage, I mean, they've got a whole host of ultimates here to really push and battle BD back.
Ace going in very aggressively, almost gets walled off by the Mei, but there's the Annihilation. The trap from Mr. Facetious might have just helped them out so much. It's still not going to save Mr. Facetious from the Annihilation, but Ace will get bursted down. It's better than the last Annihilation, you can say that. But that's the only pick they're going to get. There's the Barrage coming in. It gets 2, it gets 3. Tall Trees, none shall pass. All shall fear the name. It's just a few more staggers left. This barricade. There's the Riptire. Mr. Facetious, I don't even think it gets off. There's the Dragon Blade from Junebug. There's no protection, no immortality field to save you now. Face My Mace is gone. Junebug will eventually fall, but it might just be enough. The Cassidy comes out, trying to use that magnetic grenade to keep AWBD in this, to keep them from losing right away, to give them that hope, and it will, just barely.
I mean, they've also brought Mr. Facetious out on the Tracer and is gone.
The Coalescence. North Rockland believe that they can win this, and they might just well do it. Already Ace taking out Face My Mace. Both the backline supports are gone. They're gonna respawn close, but it might not be in enough time. They're gonna come right up to the barricade. That barricade, it just needs a little push. It just needs a little shove, and we'll be all done. And North Rockland will get that 12-map win streak. 46 seconds, and just a dream now. They're trying AWBD to stabilize, but it's just a deathless shooting range for North Rockland, for Tall Trees. Tall Trees has the Barrage again, just waiting for that Diva to get D-Mech so that they can let it loose. There's the D-Mech. There's the Diva Bomb. It'll take out M-Jack, but there's the Barrage. It's going to take Nico right back out of the mech. The Pulse Bomb takes out Nico, but it will just not be enough. Tall Trees getting pick after pick after pick. And North Rockland stay with that undefeated map streak. They're 4-0 in matches. They're 12-0 in maps. They're dominant. And it doesn't look like anyone's putting a stop to that anytime soon.
I mean, just absolutely impeccable from them. They understand their compositions. They understand what they're doing here. And they know what they're going to do at any given point in a match. I mean, the Hive mentality coming through from them was fantastic. But we're going to try and set up an interview here. So don't go away. We're going to go ahead to a short little break. We'll be back with you in just a few seconds.
Hello and welcome back. We're here with a new match and a new face. I'm still K-Wing here with Time to Light. Hey, Time to Light, we're here with a pretty exciting match of Overwatch here for you guys.
Yeah, two very contrasting teams from last week. Both of them played on stream, both of them involved in 3-0s, but not both of them winning. Eli Whitney, of course, coming out with an unfortunate start against Huntington High School and losing 3-0, whereas on the other side, West Mifflin was able to 3-0 Lake Wales and walk away with a pretty clean victory just last week.
Absolutely, and both these teams looking to continue that streak or to turn their fortunes around, but both of them have very different wants, very different needs. As we look in, both of them at that exact same standing there at second and third, the exact same map differential as well. Whoever wins this is guaranteed second place, and well, the loser is going to be thrown right into that wolf pack of 4th through 6th with multiple teams.
And going up against the Sheehan Titans as well as that top team, you're going to want to try and encroach upon them a little bit quicker. A new week means a new map pool, so we'll take a look at our maps for today. These are the maps that will be played. It's not loser pick. This is the same as our first series, same as our last series, and well, the same here. We do get to see Circuit Royale. Super fond of it, and Antarctic Peninsula, assuming, of course, we hit maps 4 or 5. The guaranteed maps in order are Ilios, Kings Row, and Caliseo between Control, Hybrid, and Push, respectively.
Yeah, and we saw in our first map in the dominant 3-0 that we had to start off the day, we saw some variation in terms of the compositions that came out on Ilios, on Kings Row, and on Caliseo. You saw some really good, some dive, some rush, especially on Kings Row. You saw the Reinhardts, who, Reinhardt's kind of come a bit back into the, I don't want to call it a meta, but definitely around the EGF teams, definitely come into the spotlight.
I'm always a fan of seeing the more standard of what used to be old compositions. Of course, Reinhardt being the number one, but of course no second tank means no diva to go along with it. Any expectations into Ilios? Of course, fairly often played control map, whether it's in set map pools or selected map pools, either way. Do you see any obvious favorites other than the fact that West Mifflin is coming into this off a victory?
I think the obvious... You have sort of the Ruins map composition of, it's pretty usually a rush composition, but the other two sub-maps, Lighthouse and Well, they're a bit of wild cards. And as we start off on Lighthouse, we already see exactly what that means with a ball composition for West Mifflin for the Titans and the Owls varsity team pulling out the Pharmacy dive comp.
I'm always a fan of the pharmacy combo, especially when you can get as close as you can, but the problem is, with a soldier on the other side, maybe a little bit more difficult to keep that sustain in thin air. Well, Jeden instead just decides to switch over to the Sombra, so moot point maybe, depends on how that'll influence the Pharah play.
It might, and you already see that dive coming out from Tsunami, and that first hit.
Already the opener. There is a return. Hibuto is taken care of. Almost a follow-up onto Wavy Patty, who does still have that Mercy boost. The Mercy actually was hacked in that engagement, but both are still healthy for the time being. It is Overwatch gun available, and there's the finish onto Jade Moon. The Mercy taken care of. That flanking Sombra a little bit more difficult than I think Eli Whitney foresaw.
Yeah, the trades are good for both these teams, but when you're talking about losing your tank, especially in Overwatch 2, that tank is your linchpin even more so now. And losing Tsunami as early on as you did for Eli Whitney is just rough.
Oh, and a 2-for-0 trade already. That should be the fight. That should be West Mifflin backing up. The problem is, if they back up, they back into the flank setup from this West Mifflin side. Already a very good start, and a hacked Pharah means a dead Pharah. Jadden with the environmental kill, and West Mifflin walk away with another fight.
You love to see the hacked Pharah just falling like a stone, thinking they're able to get away and just not... couldn't find it. Now you're coming into almost coming into an ult fight. You have the EMP coming up soon, the minefield. West Mifflin are a bit better in the ult composition, and good headshots already. Wow, Space Jesus, okay.
But Tsunami's, again, first one to fall. Even though it's a 2-for-1 trade, now traded back even, that resurrection on Tsunami may keep this a little bit better for Eli Whitney. The Mercy paying off in spades. The problem is, again hunted down, a double from Overwatch gun. The point will be flipped, but a fairly inconsequential point flip to understate the obvious. Tsunami's gonna go jump off a bridge or jump off the side of the cliff, and we'll try and reset for Eli Whitney.
Oh, that was funny, but you're looking at a really good fight from West Mifflin. They have everything that they could want here in terms of the old composition. They've got the EMP, they've got the minefield, they've got a dead Tracer.
They actually hacked off the Sombra, though, so they couldn't get the EMP off when they wanted to. Wavy Patty still finds an opener. There's the missile barrage from up above. Tsunami follows up onto Space Jesus. This should be a fight victory for Eli Whitney. But look, Jade Moon taken care of. An EMP comes through. It will land, but not to as much effect as they thought. They still haven't captured on this Eli Whitney side, even though they've been superior on trades thus far. Wavy Patty on a sliver of health, a well-placed breeze, or shot from the Akimbo pistols will take him out. A hack onto Tsunami. Overtime ticks away, and West Mifflin, even after losing 3 straight players, will take Lighthouse here on Ilios.
That was an interesting fight, to say the least. I mean, you're looking at what should have been, for Eli Whitney, you're looking at what just should have been... That should have been more than the fight win. That should have been the cleanup there. But good on West Mifflin for keeping their heads about them. Now as you come in too well, you see a bit more creativity potential here. Tsunami over on the Diva, which could be a good choice there. I also like the Reaper Cassidy DPS composition to try and get some burst damage, especially the Junkrat as well, to get some burst damage in onto the Wrecking Ball when they try to dive in, onto the Sombra when they try to dive in. This is a really flank-heavy comp, so I like this DPS composition from Eli Whitney. This could be what they need to turn it around.
Also diverse, which is really what they need. That long-range damage versus short-range efficacy, that could work in their favor, and early on it does. Wavy Patty hits an opening headshot, a follow-up body shot onto Mr. Eerie, and just like that, you have at least 1 kill going their way. West Mifflin down a support, their primary support at this point, but look at how well West Mifflin is setting the tone. They're just spacing themselves out enough to where losing that Brigida right off the bat doesn't influence their fight all that much, and they're still winning. They take down Space Jesus. Overwatch gun is on just a quarter of health, and they cannot seem to get a foothold on this West Mifflin side.
That's really good for Eli Whitney, taking that point, and like you said, just they can't seem to get anything going. Mr. Eerie getting stunned out, but ooh, it's Vemby going down first.
Mark the Pot almost getting taken out as well. Luckily, as the recall is able to turn it into an elimination, trying to push forward as well, drop down Hubuto if at all possible. This should be a much better fight for West Mifflin. The problem is they're taking so much time because they don't have all the damage put through. Pulse Bomb's available, Swift Step to get Hubuto out, but it does not happen. And West Mifflin again come out on top of a fight, this time switching after 33%.
There you go. And for Eli Whitney, that was a really difficult fight to deal with, as you're coming in. Really interesting sort of timings of these fights, as they seem to be ending and starting right as they are, just one right after the other.
It's the difference of staggers as well here for Eli Whitney. Mines used by Overwatch Gun towards spawn. They'll try and take down a baby diva, of whom gets her mech back. So by no means is this fight over. Pulse Bomb goes through, just barely misses Wavy Patty, who's alive for the time being, but still can't get out safely. Luckily, that health steal will work out in their favor, and a self-destruct over the top will take down Overwatch Gun. That should be the fight victory. The question is, how long does it take them to cap the point? The answer for you, very little time. Overall, healthy fight for Eli Whitney, only one ultimate required.
Yeah, and usually you think of good diva bombs as being the ones that, get eight kills and just absolutely demolish the enemy team, but getting the pick on that enemy tank, like we've been talking about, is worth it in its own way, as already that pick coming in onto Wavy Patty is going to be pretty difficult for Eli Whitney to hold.
Tanks and hit scan DPSs are seemingly the VIPs to try and drop down. Tsunami's hacked, but they're still alive, and they have some support from Haibudo up on top. Jaden's still on this side, will take down the bear trap and look to take down Bemby as well. It's actually a double from Mark the Pot, and they're trying to keep themselves in this. Kitsune Rush deciding to be used. Tsunami is demeched and does not have their mech for a little bit of time. They'll actually just be bursted down courtesy of Mark the Pot and Jaden themselves, and just like that, West Mifflin cap right back.
That was a bit of a late use of the Kitsune Rush by Haibudo. They probably are going to want that back. It's such a good offensive ultimate, and especially when you're coming into the ult bank that West Mifflin has. They've got all 5 ultimates online and just waiting, and you don't have a defensive ultimate besides maybe the rally. You probably want to rally early if you're Eli Whitney at this point, and there you get the early rally from Mr. Eerie.
Oh, but look at the mines. Mark the Pot dropping in the Pulse Bomb, and then Overwatch Gun actually getting a grapple propulsion kill. A free fight here, and we're reaching final fight territory. Here's West Mifflin curses 80%.
They do get that 80% fair. Good on Eli Whitney for tracking those ultimates and knowing that they should not try and use any, that they should go into this with a dry fight, because now they do have the ultimate advantage. There's the bomb from Tsunami. Not going to find many picks, though.
Oh, and Transcendence now use, and already a D-Mech Tsunami. Drop in, there's that Death Blossom. It finds 2. The support line has been taken care of. It's 2 supports and a DPS versus just a lack of supports for West Mifflin. They're still staying in this fight, though, keeping a healthy distance while still being able to do damage. The problem is the sustain here for Eli Whitney is good enough to keep them in a fight long-term, even with limited damage output. Jade Moon pressured, Tsunami barely staying above that well. The EMP being used, however, is so much damage done. A cleanse with that Suzu to keep Eli Whitney alive, and most importantly, included in this fight. Overwatch Gun's mines go through just the same. Jade Moon, however, pressed back into the backline. They should be taken out, and they are.
Really good stuff already there as you're looking at the Kitsune Rush. That is so good from Overwatch Gun. Just the minefield, the dominance, and just cutting off so much space. It allows West Mifflin.
Perfect to close out well, and surprisingly enough, they actually stay in that fight, even with enough damage output. When you're playing up against 2 support heroes, such as what Eli Whitney had on the board, it's so difficult to finish off your targets, so instead, they just continue to do damage, keep their space, and make sure that their own supports were able to get back into the fight before fully re-engaging, and that healthy measuring of how much damage you try and do is exactly what wins them well, and ultimately wins them Ilios.
Couldn't agree with you more, as that's some good game knowledge, rather than seeing a few picks come through and saying, oh, it's done. Mm-hmm. Knowing exactly when a fight is lost and a fight is won. For West Mifflin, able to keep themselves alive, keep that sustain, and knowing that you have the advantage in that matchup with having both your supports versus that really clutch Death Blossom you saw there that took out both supports. It was a bit dicey there, but West Mifflin taking that first map.
Yeah, speaking of maps, let's take a look at our second. We're heading to Kings Row, and that measurement of aggression there for West Mifflin is going to bode very well for them as we move into Kings Row. Of course, Streets phase so difficult to keep consistent sustain on that defensive side. The attacking side on the complete opposite side of that coin, it's difficult to make sure you can consistently keep ultimates on the board while also winning fights, depending on where you're trying to take them, especially towards the later stages of the third phase. I think West Mifflin's going to bode much better on Kings Row than we see from Eli Whitney, but by no means is Eli Whitney out, especially in the second phase as well. We saw signs of life from them. We saw them with their own very good game sense to keep themselves involved in fights while not over-aggressing and making sure they measure that aggression to give themselves the best chance later on. Unfortunately, they were just outmatched in the 5v5.
Unfortunately, and you're going to probably end up seeing some Reinhardt play on Kings Row as, well, it's that old style composition. It's the Overwatch 1 home of Rush. And, well, Kings Row, not much different than Overwatch 2. You're talking the Reinhardt composition. You're talking about trying to push through and just hit that W key as much as possible and play into the intense burst damage that you can get out of a Reinhardt at close range.
Close range fights for Kings Row, always a difficult notion for teams. West Mifflin at this point, I think, wanted to keep their distance, especially there. Barring the Tracer, they were very healthy in those long-range engagements. Whereas on the other side, Eli Whitney were more than happy, especially with a Reaper and Junkrat combination. They wanted to be up in your face and making sure you had to fight for it. I think that's going to continue here. Wavy Patty's going to pick up that Tracer, and Eli Whitney, with their choice, will start on the defensive side. But the Cassidy on the board, that indicates they want to keep their healthy distance while still being able to do enough damage close range should it be required.
Completely agree with you there, as Tsunami is it's an interesting pick going on to the Wrecking Ball. When you see the Wrecking Ball, you tend to think of that dive composition, and I don't really see that reflected in the Cassie pick, mainly, but it could just be that choice, a bit of comfort pick, or there could be a bit of a plan as you've got some heroes right around the corner.
Wavy Patty playing hide and seek. Tsunami trying to do the same. The problem is they've now been dove. Their position more than known. They'll try and jump across. They will do so. But look, all the information there. Tsunami will re-shield themselves up. But a great anti. The Bionade lands. That should be a kill onto them. It is indeed. Wavy Patty, however, hunts down Mark the Pot. A 2-for-1 trade overall. But the VIP, that tank has been taken care of. Jade Moon just the same. A follow-up on Hubuto. And that's first fight already done. No way to say in this one. Jaden will add an impactful and, dare I say, explosive end of the fight as the Dynamite will take out half.
That was just good map awareness for West Mifflin, able to find both of the Eli Whitney members hiding out on the side. Thankfully, though, that was a pretty clean fight for Eli Whitney, so they're going to be able to try and hold in this archway, which can be pretty scary for an offensive team.
Mr. Erie trying to play the bingo card of how many impacts, or how much impact can I have with a Bionade up against Tsunami? No matter really what hero they're playing, it's always an important conversation. Overwatch Gun hunting down Wavy Patty, no extra blips for them, so they'll be dropped out of contention. A follow-up maybe here onto Tsunami. They need to drop back to that Mega Health Pack, but they won't in time. Incoming strike from above as well. It's a 3, now 4K for Overwatch Gun. That's it. That's the fight. Streets phase is almost halfway done already, and it's been 30 seconds.
That is really good Doomfist play by Overwatch Gun. There's no other way around it. That was scary. I would be quaking in my boots if I saw that in my ranked games, and it was the ability usage, and it was knowing exactly when to be aggressive. We talked about this coming into the map, and you saw it there. Overwatch Gun knew they had the support, they had the backup, and they had exactly what they need. Okay, you know, they hold the other corner. It's fine. Or they don't.
Yeah, Tsunami already dead. Playing a game of Mystery Heroes, has not stayed on one hero for longer than one death. Has gone from the ball, onto the D.Va, now to the Orisa, and will stick with the Orisa actually into third phase. This may very well be one of the quickest finishes of King's Row we've seen in the EGFH. Tsunami again getting aggressive. All cooldowns available, other than of course the ultimate on the board, but they need to make sure they don't get over aggressive. Jaden can play with Bob and possibly use that new addition of Bob focusing down Ashe targeted targets to help them impact this fight.
You know what they say for Tsunami, from the D.Va to the ball to the robotic force, that's all, and that's a really good nano onto Tsunami there, but wow. Okay.
It's just not enough. That'll do it. That's first and second and third phase all done. For all of you curious as to how much time you get on the attack, you start with 4 minutes, you get an extra 2.5 after completing first phase, and an extra 1.5 minutes after completing third. Again, for all of you mathematicians out there, that's 7 minutes total. Quick subtraction will tell you that West Mifflin finished King's Row in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Okay.
Wait, what?
Yeah. They
2.5 minutes
King's...
and 2.5 minutes plus 1.5 minutes plus 4. That's 8, right?
Okay, so 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Having a
right. I can't do math. This is why casters shouldn't do math on stream.
No math. Don't do math. You'll just look silly.
Embarrass yourself like I just did?
I was trying to avoid saying embarrass yourself, but speaking of some addition, what do you get when you add a 4 minute, almost 5 minute time bank and being on the defensive for West Mifflin? That's right, you get whatever the exact opposite of having your back against the wall is. West Mifflin have almost no pressure on them to full hold, to hold at the archway. They can do pretty much whatever they want, and as long as they don't like get steamrolled, they'll guaranteed have a bigger time bank because they have 5 minutes on the time bank. That's massive.
What an accretion. Overwatch gun actually gets caught, is now on fire, and not in the fun way. Eli Whitney, target prioritization is there. The problem is, can they get in safely? The answer, apparently not really. Good Suzu will keep them in this fight, but again, these power punches after shooting out that block will cost you more often than it won't. And West Mifflin are more than happy to keep a healthy distance. Wavy Patty on towards that Ashe, trying to match Jaden. The problem is, they're just not doing enough damage back, and West Mifflin are holding for significantly longer. Well, they're holding period here on first point. Mark the Pot still pressuring forward. Will just absolutely barrel stuff most of Eli Whitney and be more than happy to take most of these fights, even against what is a very close range favored Reaper, and they'll win it no less.
I really love exactly the positioning West Mifflin, that what the Titans are taking here. They're having Jaden take that angle on the right side of the statue, and then they're having the rest of their team push through and try and just force Eli Whitney back out right into the sights of Jaden. And it's just put them right between a rock and a hard place. It's put them exactly where they want, with forcing really good positioning. It is that pincer move that you see a lot of the time, and it worked out to perfection. It worked out really well, since Overwatch Gun is incredibly good at this Doomfist and already charged up the ultimate. But you've got the beat for Jade Moon. Eli Whitney, this is potentially your fight.
Oh, but from behind, Jade Moon's taken out. 1-for-1 trade is there. Good cleanse will keep them alive for the time being. And a follow-up is there on the Space Jesus and Mr. Eerie. No supports left over. Kitsune Rush now on the board. This may very well be West Mifflin's opportunity if they can drop out Overwatch Gun quickly enough. If they take too long, then it will be a held fight. But fortunately, they are able to drop off the Titans, only for the time being, and most likely at least able to capture first point.
And this is what we've been talking about, with knowing exactly when, even when the odds seem against you, that you can win that fight. I thought the investment of the Kitsune Rush from Kabuto, I thought that was a big mistake, but it was me with egg on my face, and Eli Whitney take that first point, pardon. And even despite Jade Moon getting taken out before that beat landed, it's really hi Doomfist.
From behind, Tsunami uses one bubble. I don't even know if they have a second. Luckily, there is a protection Suzu on the board. Baby Patty, they got canceled. No, it does go out. I thought Bob got Ajax. That would have been the epitome of this series. Graviton Surge used. 2 for 1 now as the Death Blossom's dedicated just the same. But West Mifflin back out, and most importantly, Jaden finds one from behind. Mark the Pot a follow-up. This fight is far from over. Even with the inclusion of a Death Blossom and Graviton Surge, West Mifflin may very well walk away with a fight victory, and they do.
But even in spite of that, they have to pull back slightly as these spawns from Eli Whitney are going to be so close. But they do have the ultimate. They do have the tactical visor, but the Titans will not be far behind.
2 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, so more than enough time to have 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 fights if you're on the Eli Whitney side. There's one of them off the board, and there's the Doomfist banking from behind again. Luckily, not all that much damage done, but a 1-for-1 trade overall. Visor from up above actually finds 2, and the Seismic Slam onto half makes it a 3rd. Tsunami will be finished off, courtesy of Overwatch Gun. Jaden with the assist, and West Mifflin with another fight.
It's really tough for Eli Whitney when you have Jaden just on that high ground, shooting from long range, just trying to get anything going with it. You don't have a lot of range to try and take them down. Now Whitey Mark Pot, Overwatch Gun is right behind. Is still behind them. This flank is just massive. Oh no.
Baby Patty gets one punched. Talk about a superhero play. One Punch Man has made an appearance. Talk about one fight man as a team kill comes through. Eli Whitney evaporate in 6 seconds time, and West Mifflin have cut the time bank down to 90 seconds.
And this is just how brutal that 5 minutes time bank is for West Mifflin. Eli Whitney, if they want even a comparable time bank, well, they can't have a bigger time bank, but if they want even a similar time bank, okay.
Overwatch Gun dying's probably a pretty good start for them. No expert here, but it should assist. Kitsune Rush used, Hibuto drops Space Jesus, and Mr. Eerie taken care of as well. Final fight in the second phase is upon us. Mark the Pot behind with a Pulse Bomb. I think they've been seen though. Wavy Patty aware of their position, even gets help with a bubble. The problem is this flank from the DPS of West Mifflin may not work.
It may not, but Overwatch Gun is there to stall out of that card for a little bit, and late pick onto Jaden means that really you're looking at a staggered fight coming in, but Overwatch Gun is pretty confident, and beat coming out early is good.
The really early beat, though, not quick enough. Half has the Death Blossom, so fight-winning possibilities here for Eli Whitney, and they may very well have to come through. Half has to press Q, and it's the final 20 seconds. They're running out of time to do so, and they've run out of health. 15 seconds, it's final fight if they can even touch.
Unless Jade Moon hits a legendary rollout and is able to... No, they're not even going to... They can't even try and touch. There's not enough time. The soldier's going to try and run towards it, but it's not it. It's West Mifflin, the Titans, with a dominant performance on King's Row. There's no way to overstate that. That was a 5-minute time bank for the Titans. 5 minutes on King's Row. I have seen some quick runs for King's Row. That might just be the fastest I've seen that happen in an official game.
I want to know the lowest amount of time it could take to finish King's Row, because that's gotta be up there if they're looking that good. Fun statistic for you if you're at all curious. Tsunami has now played over half of the tank heroes in Overwatch 2. They've reached 6 at this point. In order, they have played Winston, Wrecking Ball, they brought out early another Wrecking Ball, switched across, they were on, Zarya, Sigma, and Orisa all 6, I believe. There could be an extra one in there. I may have counted Wrecking Ball twice. Anyway, speaking of 2, that's 2 maps done here for West Mifflin. They will take a 2-0 lead, look to finish a series 3-0, just as they have last week when we come back from the break. Push is upon us. Welcome to Rome, the Colosseo, or Colosseum for all of you from real life. West Mifflin with a 2-0 lead through 2 maps of play. Eli Whitney needing a reverse sweep and needing to start it fairly soon. With 10 minutes on the clock, they have to push TS1 to the checkpoint, or just further than West Mifflin does over these next 10 minutes. I'm Time to Light, still joined alongside me is K-Wing, and what needs to happen here for Eli Whitney? Because it seems like a miracle, but they've been pretty included in a lot of these fights.
They really have, and for Eli Whitney, it's going to be tough because you're coming into a pretty similar rush composition. You need to play the strength of the Reinhardt in that Junker Queen matchup. You should have the advantage, but you need to not get caught out like that.
Seen more heroes now as we've reached 8 of 11 of the tanks in the game played. The problem is when you're taking on a close-range Junker Queen, a Reaper to assist, and Mark the Pot on Widowmaker from long range. That's 3 disadvantages, none of which you really had answers for. I did like that Tracer back on King's Row to deal with Mark the Pot on the Widow. We haven't seen the switch yet here, though.
No, we have not, and we will not, it seems. There is the commanding shout from Overwatch Gun. And
hello.
Wow. There's a headshot, and Wavy Patty's trying to take them down, but it's going to be really tough.
Helix Rockets better close range to take out that Widow, such low HP to deal with. Tsunami needing to play spin the bottle with their shield just to stay alive, and they're lucky enough to do so. Wavy Patty, another kill, this time onto Space Jesus. Again, the support line for West Mifflin is taken care of, but by no means are they fully out of this fight. Now, maybe they are with Overwatch Gun falling.
That's the thing. People think when you take out the support line of a team that they are just completely gone and out of it. And that is mostly usually true, but you also have to think they still have all their damage. If they can close out the fight really quickly and make some decisive picks, they can absolutely still win that fight if they're just looking for a quick cleanup. Oh, that was a lot of headshots from Mark the Pot.
Mark decides better of the Widow and instead goes on to the Soldier and trying to do as much as they can with it. Tsunami looking for the pin will find it and find Space Jesus. The problem is the rest of their team is evaporating around them. Rampage used, the decay effect setting in, and Tsunami, not long for this world, will easily be taken care of. A melee onto Wavy Patty and the fight back for West Mifflin.
Really good offensive work there from West Mifflin, but one has to wonder if it's an overcommitment. Piece of trash using that Death Blossom was an interesting choice as the bot starts to push the barricade. It didn't find any picks directly off it. It did pump in the damage, but you're wondering if they, coming into how many ults Eli Whitney has, you're kind of wondering if they want that back.
Well, they would have, assuming Habuto survived past the first 9 seconds of the fight. Mark the Pot uses that railgun and drops him out of contention. Even with 130 damage done by that sticky grenade, it does not do enough to drop down Mark the Pot. The overclock used, and the fight again won here for West Mifflin.
West Mifflin really have to hope that they can get to that checkpoint, get those forward spawns unlocked, and they will. Even if Eli Whitney has an overwhelming amount of ultimates, and they do 4 ults to West Mifflin's 1, this Transcendence either needs to be incredibly massive, or they need a hero play, and it might not happen.
Well, with Mr. Eerie gone and the anti-effect on top of Overwatch Gun, it has to be the Transcendence, and that's what they decide to use. They also bring in this visor, but it doesn't do as much as they would have liked, especially with a triple there. Mark the Pot a double of their own, just with the disruptor shot. Habuto barely alive, but Wavy Patty somehow does enough damage and drops Space Jesus. Forward spawns will significantly favor West Mifflin though.
Especially with the swap onto the Reinhardt, it's going to be tough to try and face that with Tsunami on the Sigma. Just trying to complete the bingo card, it seems, has already... You're just going to have that Reinhardt run over the Sigma, and you're already seeing it, especially with the Reaper.
The Pot trying to flank with this Soldier, not finding as much as I think they would have liked. Space Jesus taken out. That's a lot of damage done. The pin misses. A good Suzu to keep them in this fight as well here for Eli Whitney. West Mifflin down a player, but still very much involved in this fight, just keeping this Eli Whitney side at arm's length. The problem is they're over-aggressing. Overwatch gun so low, very lucky to be alive at this point. Mr. Eerie is no longer, but there's an immediate trade back the other way. The problem is, not worried about half will cost you your life. Good stun, but even better Wraith out there for piece of trash.
That is the weakness of this healing composition from the Titans, is that it doesn't have that high healing or even a lot of that defensive utility that you would get from the anti-nade or the protection Suzu from what the Owls are running on their side. And there's the highest noon.
It finds thin air. Maybe damage, that's about it. It does create enough space here for Eli Whitney. The problem is they're winning a lot of these fights, but they're not actually collapsing on top of it. Fire strike into a railgun shot. Half is evaporated in thin air. Wavy Patty very lucky that wasn't a headshot. So is Hubuto, but Hubuto followed up upon, and that should be the fight. Mark the Pot close range will drop Wavy Patty out of contention, and West Mifflin are back.
And they're going to be pushing that barricade. It's going to activate those close spawns. And now you're a bit closer in terms of your ult economy. But the Owls still looking better for it. They've got 3 ultimates, including that Nano Visor combo. Piece of Trash is probably going to try and look for an early Death Blossom over on that right side, trying to flank, but they are immediately spotted. They need to get that early ult, or they might be just shut down.
Wavy Patty, Helix Rocket just barely misses. Maybe would have killed Overwatch gun. They have an amazing sleep, land onto Piece of Trash. That almost certainly would have found 3. Luckily for them, it finds absolutely nothing, and Piece of Trash is dropped out of contention. Kitsune Rush used. This is maybe the final fight here for Eli Whitney if they want to have a chance at winning out this map. Wavy Patty playing inside of it, and with half support will drop out Space Jesus and Mr. Eerie. Overwatch gun followed up on, and Eli Whitney win again.
Crucially, Space Jesus pops that Transcendence, and that is a really big defensive ultimate. It's the only defensive ultimate that you had. Now switching on to the Kiriko, a good choice to get some more healing per second, but you're going into a Nano Visor combo potentially coming through. You're going to have to deal with that in some way. Who knows how at this point. The Titans going to be walking into a big ult, or you can just do that. Okay.
Yeah, Piece of Trash could just drop him down. I think it's, again, combined abilities. Fire Strike onto half. They're trying to hunt him down. They just don't have the continuous damage nor speed to do so. Suzu will keep them alive for the time being. Shadow around the corner, but it misses. Unfortunate timing there for Overwatch gun, who again is not able to do enough with it. They do still drop down half, but not enough. How in the world does half get out alive? Visor from up above now, Space Jesus taken care of, looking for more, but good measurement of aggression. Overwatch gun's shield falls as soon as half finds a skull, and they'll find a kill off the back of it as well.
That's exactly what Eli Whitney needs. They need to start turning this around. They need that bot to start pushing the barricade. Otherwise, it could just be the end of it. A big ending pick onto Mr. Eerie, but they need to win a lot of fights in a row, and it needs to start with a really effective Nano, and winning the fight off that Nano, rolling that into the Kitsune Rush, the Gravitic Flux, and their DPS ultimates. Otherwise, they're going to get put a stop to by some overwhelming ultimates coming out from West Mifflin in this coming fight or the next fight. Whatever happens, they need some ults now, the Owls.
Eli Whitney, 3 fights minimum to win this map, if not more. Mark the Pot from behind. Here's the high noon. It doesn't land, though. It does enough damage, so half can be finished off. A Nano on top of Tsunami to possibly save this one, but it just is not enough. Target prioritization, more than there. And it seems like Space Jesus is one with martial arts, as a kick to the face of Tsunami will send West Mifflin even further forward.
Have you ever had such a Tsunami onto the Ramatra as well? What heroes are we missing?
10. That's 10. It's only Roadhog.
It's only Roadhog. Tsunami, go the Roadhog for the memes. Go the Roadhog for the memes. But in all seriousness, what Eli Whitney has the ability to potentially start rolling out, but they need to do it in this fight, and that chat is not a good way to start.
Goodness. Good Suzu's there. Here's the visor, trying to find as much as they can on the West Mifflin side. Piece of Trash is the only one to fall, but that's just not enough for Eli Whitney. Even taking care of that visor is just not enough damage. The switch onto the ball, Tsunami will make their 6th switch of the game, but it may not be enough. Nano does not come through. Hubuto is taken care of. Transcendence is there. This should be the map, much less the series. Tsunami is evaporated. Wavy Patty trying to have whatever they can with this tactical visor, but again, not enough damage. Half is the only one that stands between them and completing Coliseo, and there's just not enough. West Mifflin will complete Coliseo and sweep the series.
And it's off the back of some really great tank play coming out from the Titans. And, I mean, just...
That's a new one.
Yeah, I think that's a new highlight intro. I didn't know that was a highlight intro, but it's just off the back of some really smart tank play from Overwatch Gun, playing both the Reinhardt, the Doomfist, just showing us exactly why they are as dominant as they are, and why West Mifflin are such a solid pick for second place, as they're now in second place in the standings pretty solidly at this point, and they're looking to potentially take first if that first place team's not careful.
She Titans need to be careful. We saw 10 of 11 tank heroes in this series. For all of you curious who they were, Junker Queen, Diva, Doomfist, Reinhardt, Wrecking Ball, Sigma, Zarya, Orisa, Winston, and Ramatra to close out Coliseo. The only one left out, unfortunately, is a Roadhog. The pig gets no love to close out the series. Eli Whitney do just that, close out the series in a 3-0 fashion. We're either going to come back with an interview or our final series of the day when we come back from the break.